All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep, welcome to the African History Network show. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Sunday, January 30th, 2022, and we are live. All right, so we're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. We're also broadcasting on Blog Talk Radio. Normally, we're on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF here in Detroit, but the station is they're down this weekend, or it's for today, so they're not broadcasting live shows. So we normally broadcast on 9:10 and our social media platforms. So we're just broadcasting on our social media platforms today. And also on Blog Talk Radio as well. Okay. Calling number is 914-338-1375. 914-338-1375 is the call-in number, and press the number 1 key. All right. To go live on the air. Okay. So on today's show, I watched the Janet Jackson documentary that aired on Lifetime. Okay. Friday and Saturday. Okay, Friday, January 29th, and Saturday, January 30th. It's a fantastic documentary. A lot of people are talking about it on social media. So we're going to talk about it on today's show. This is one of the things we'll talk about on today's show. Janet Jackson takes control and reveals a lot in Lifetime documentary. Now, she addressed the Super Bowl in 2004 and Justin Timberlake and a number of different things, whether or not there was a secret baby with James DeBarge, and it was so much covered in this documentary. It's executive produced by Janet Jackson herself, as well as her brother Randy Jackson, who is the sibling she's closest with. So I think it helped to answer a lot of questions and rumors that were swirling around for years. For people that remember Janet Jackson, even before her Control album came out, where she teamed up with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. People that remember her back on Fame. Okay, they talked about her being on the TV show Fame. I'm Gonna Live Forever, and Fame was a TV show that was inspired by the movie Fame. Okay, in the 1980s, I remember watching Fame. I remember watching Janet Jackson on Different Strokes. Okay, as Willis Jackson's girlfriend. Okay, Charlene. So, and we all remember her on as Penny on Good Times. All right, so we're going to talk about this some on today's show, and you could post your comments here as well. We'll deal with some of the things that were revealed in this documentary. It is very well produced, and this is an opportunity for her to tell her own story also, because oftentimes in the media, especially with the advent of social media is more prevalent today than it was in 2004. Okay, with the advent of social media, it's even worse today. Okay, now you just got to bear with me. I need to connect to Blog Talk Radio as well, and remember how to do this, because I haven't broadcasted live on Blog Talk Radio, and I don't know. I don't remember, a year or so, maybe longer than that. I don't remember last time. Okay, stand by. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, so we're broadcasting now live on Blog Talk Radio as well. Welcome to the African History Network show. It is Sunday, January 30th, 2022, and we are live. Calling number on today's show, calling number is 914-338-1375. 914-338-1375. Okay, press the number 1 key to put you in the queue. so we can bring you on the air. Normally, like I said, we're on 9, 10 a.m. Superstation WFDF on Sundays and Monday through Friday as well. But the radio station is they're down for the day. They're doing some maintenance, so no live show. So we're broadcasting here. So in addition to the Janet Jackson documentary, also I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, January 29th. And I want to deal with this story dealing with African American farmers. Now we've talked about the plight of African American farmers for a number of years here on the African History Network show. But John Boyd, who's president of the National Black Farmers Association, talked about PepsiCo, and John Boyd is calling out PepsiCo for all talk and no contracts when it comes to National Black Farmers members. All talk and no contracts when it comes to National Black Farmers members. And this deals with a verbal agreement that it appears that Pepsi is backing out of to give contracts to Black farmers to grow potatoes. All right. So we'll talk about this as well. We discussed this on Roland Martin Unfiltered with John Boyd. You've heard us talk about John Boyd before, president of the National Black Farmers Association. And this is one of the reasons why we have to leverage our economics to enforce our politics. This deals with renegotiating our relationship with corporate America, which is something that you've heard me talk about here on the show before, and it's something one of my teachers, Dr. Claude Anderson, deals with, renegotiating our relationship with corporate America. So we'll discuss this as well. And then I want to squeeze in this other story, very, very interesting story dealing with history. We posted about this on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. It deals with Samuel L. Jackson, and there was an article from WatchTheYard.com that deals with how Samuel L. Jackson was expelled from Morehouse College for holding Martin Luther King Jr.'s father hostage. And this dealt with the protest at Morehouse in the 1960s that centered around the students at Morehouse fighting for Black Studies classes. Okay. So we're going to deal with this story. We posted this a few days ago on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. And this story got a huge response also. Okay. And then a few days ago, this other story here that I want to squeeze in. We talked about this on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. So a lot of people remember, well, first of all, back in 2020 or 2021, back in 2021, you remember Major League Baseball moved the All-Star game from Atlanta because of the voter suppression bill, Senate Bill 202. Okay. They moved the All-Star game out of protest against the voter suppression bills. Well, now you have some faith leaders, including Reverend William Barber, who are calling on the NFL to move the Super Bowl. Okay, calling on the NFL to move the Super Bowl out of Arizona in protest of voting rights. Okay, and Senator Kyrsten Sinema, not voting to change the filibuster. Faith leaders call on NFL to move 2023 Super Bowl out of Arizona over states' threats to voting rights. Okay, or out of states' threats to voting rights as well, but also is dealing with Senator Kyrsten Sinema, even though she voted for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act, she voted against changing the filibuster rules, any changes to the filibuster rules. A group of more than 200 faith leaders from across the U.S. have called on National Football League Commissioner Roger Goodell to pull the 2023 Super Bowl out of Arizona over the state's restrictive voting laws and attempts among Republican state legislators to overturn election results and consolidate power. So this was an article from Yahoo News. We talked about this on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. And I'm going to let you hear some of that conversation because, and this is something that definitely needs to happen, but it should be more than just faith leaders involved in this fight and calling attention to this. Now, I'm somebody, I'm probably biased because I haven't watched the NFL game since Colin Kaepernick left the league. Okay, I think that was 2017. I haven't watched the NFL game since Colin Kaepernick left the league. So I know the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl first time in 33 years. Who gives a damn? I don't care. I saw the headlines. I get news alerts all day on my phone from multiple news sources. But I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I don't watch any NFL games. So yeah, this protest should take place, and the NFL should move the Super Bowl out of Arizona. And remember, Arizona was the last state to recognize Dr. King Day also. And you remember the song By the Time I Get to Arizona back in the 1990s by Public Enemy. It was a protest song because Arizona would not recognize Dr. King Day as a federal holiday. But also, we should be putting economic pressure on the advertisers of the Super Bowl and the NFL and things like this. Why are you silent when it comes to voting rights? Why are you silent when it comes to getting the John Lewis Voting Rights Act bill passed? 70% of the NFL is African American. So we have to leverage our economics to enforce our politics. So we'll talk about this, and then I want to try to squeeze in the last story dealing with in June of 1941, January 25th, 1941, A. Philip Randolph called for a march on Washington against President Roosevelt. Okay. And I was trying to get to that story a couple of days ago, but we didn't have a chance to get to that story. All right. So we're going to squeeze that in on today's show. All right. Now, on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects your own behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you control the circumference of his or her actions, because the mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We deal with current events and history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there as well at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. So very quickly, I want to let you, we're going to jump into this first topic here dealing with Janet Jackson. And once again, the call-in number is 914-338-1375, 914-338-1375 is the call-in number. If you have a question or comment, press the number 1 key to put you in the queue so we can bring you on the air. All right. We'll be back on 9:10 a.m. Superstation WFDF on tomorrow's show. Okay, so I got to get used to doing all this because I don't have Shakita here or Jalen to operate the boards for me, my board operators for the radio station. I don't have them here. It's me doing all this. Okay, so our new online courses are up for African American History Month at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. They're starting Saturday, February 5th and Sunday, February 6th. Okay, Saturday, February 5th is class number 1, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. This is a 10-week online course. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. This is going to be 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturdays. And we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. We have the classes on sale, $80, regularly $130. We have a special pack. You can register for both classes for only $120. Then also from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. Sundays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Starts up February 6th, 2022. Okay, so we'll give you some more information about that. All right, so I want to jump into this this first topic here. So you can post your comments here as well. I thought the documentary was very revealing, very well done. It was emotional at times for Janet Jackson. I didn't see a lot of we saw Rebe Jackson in it. Didn't see a lot of LaToya Jackson, which was a little interesting, but okay, I understand. It was executive produced by Janet Jackson and Randy Jackson. So I was looking at some different articles on it. I watched the documentaries Friday and Sunday. I mean Friday and Saturday. And this essence.com has a couple of good pieces dealing with this. One of them from Essence deals with 10 things we learned from night one of Lifetime's Janet Jackson documentary. 10 things we learned from night one of Janet Jackson's documentary. And it's a four-part documentary event over the course of 2 nights. And it's probably Janet Jackson as we have never seen her before, going from childhood to getting into the industry, getting into entertainment, getting into singing and dancing, getting into acting as well. I want to pull up this article here from essence.com. Okay, let's see here. I want okay, I want just a second here. Just bear with me. I want the first one from Essence. Also, today.com had a good piece as well. So if we look at this one here from Essence.com, this deals with night one, what we learned from some things that we learned from night one of the documentary. All right, let me pull this up, get past all these ads. So we found out that Randy is her closest sibling. Let me flip over here to this piece from Essence. If you've seen interviews with Janet Jackson before, you know that acting is her first love. She likes acting more than singing. But one of the things we found out was that she never actually wanted to be an entertainer. One of the things they dealt with in the documentary is her father, Joe Jackson, who we know passed away. Joe Jackson managing her career, but she also defends Joe Jackson as well, because a lot of the media over the years had been fairly unkind, I think, to Joe Jackson. The same way they had been to Richard Williams, Serena Williams and Venus Williams' father also. But one of the things they point out here in this piece from Essence, Janet never actually wanted to be an entertainer. When the Jackson family secured, and I'm going to zoom in on this here, when the Jackson family secured a Las Vegas residency and a later television variety show, Janet Jackson was quickly slotted in to sing, dance, and act alongside her famous brothers. She says she was never asked, just shoved onto stage at age 8. Okay. Now, I don't know how many people knew this, but I remember the one. Well, I'm old enough to remember the Jacksons cartoon. Okay. I remember the Jackson 5 cartoon that used to come on. And I remember their variety show from the 70s. But I didn't know they had a Las Vegas residency. I didn't know that, even though I knew Janet started in the business very young, I didn't know she was never asked if she wanted to do it. She was just shoved on stage. Now, later in her teen years, she was again pushed by her father to release an album and tour, despite the fact that she actually wanted to get an education and a career outside of entertainment. Because she talks about, there was an interview that they showed, and she said she wanted to go to college. Okay, I never knew any of this. All right, now we know the first two albums, her first two albums, they were like teeny bopper albums. Okay, her first two albums were teeny bopper albums, and she didn't want to record anymore. But she decided if she was going to do this, she wanted to do it her way, on her her terms. She teams up with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and they come out with the Control album, which like totally reshaped everything. Totally, and you listen to the lyrics. And now I had Control on 33 and the third. I had the album, the actual album. I mean, they still call stuff albums, and it's like digital downloads. No, I had the 33 and the third, the vinyl of Control. And I think I still have my Rhythm Nation CD somewhere as well. I think it's in one of my crates. So we found out that she wanted to go to college also. And this is like before Control comes out. Now, Joe Jackson kept her from attending college. Okay. Now, once again, this is not the way that I think one of the good things, because she and Randy were executive producers of the documentary. The documentary, even though it dealt with these different nuances of Joe Jackson, it didn't attack him. It didn't dehumanize him. Okay. After performing on her family's variety show for several years, Janet Jackson had plans of retiring and going to college. She revealed that she wanted to go away to school and major in economics. I never knew this about her. Okay. I just thought she wanted to sing and dance and act and things like this. However, once her brothers severed ties with their father, Joe Jackson, as their manager, he focused all of his energy on her as his next big act. Janet was pushed into recording her debut album, Janet Jackson, in 1982, and her second album, Dream Street, in 1984. Okay, so these were like teeny bopper albums, okay? And that wasn't really her. All right, her image was really controlled. So something else that we found out was that she hated her second album. Okay, she hated her second album. And under her father's control, Janet had little to no say in the direction of her first two albums. Now, for 1984's Dream Street, and I remember when this came out. Okay, Dream Street is about this. It's like the same year that Purple Rain came out, so it didn't get a whole lot of attention. All right, but for 1984's Dream Street, the sound, the songs, and the look were all selected by those around her, and she felt none of it spoke to who she was. Even the album's cover was a photo that she did not like as the final selection. Ultimately, the album turned out to be ultimately the album turned out not to be the runaway success that Joe Jackson had hoped, giving Janet the prompt to go on in her own direction, like her brothers had before her. Okay. So this is from cover from the second album. Yeah, I think this is the cover of the second album. Okay. So it's like, all right. So in the movie, we see Rebe Jackson a lot. Actually, in the documentary, we see Rebe Jackson interviewed a lot as well. They deal with Janet and James DeBarge. And I encourage people, if you haven't seen the Unsung on the DeBarge family, DeBarge is from Grand Rapids. I live in Detroit. DeBarge is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I never met them. But I mean, they had a horrible upbringing because of their abusive white father. And then in the Unsung on DeBarge, see, so because when you watch Unsung on DeBarge, You see why they got hooked on drugs. You see why, and it which led to some of them selling drugs and things like this. They weren't trying to be Nino Brown. They weren't trying to be the biggest drug dealers in Grand Rapids or whatever. No, they were dealing with demons because of the abuse of their father. Okay, who was white, their mother's African American, and then in the unsung episode on TV1 about DeBarge, it was revealed, Bunny DeBarge revealed publicly for the first time that the father was sexually abusing her also. Now they have some clips of it on YouTube. Okay. But you go watch that, and then also you watch the Bobby DeBarge story that TV1 did a couple years ago about Bobby DeBarge, who's the lead singer of Switch, he's the one that really uh he was the one that really got the family into music professionally, and they were on Motown. You watch that, you see why. I mean, it's a wonder the ones who are still alive after what they went through. It's a wonder they were still alive. I mean, music was like their only escape, their only refuge. I mean, the ones that are still alive. It's a one. I mean, when you see El DeBarge, and we know El, a few years ago, I think he had a relapse or something like that. He had been on drugs, things like this. You see the Bobby DeBarge story, then all that stuff starts coming together. All right. So also now, let me see. I want to go to we got number 5 here, and I want to monitor the phone lines. Calling numbers 914-338-1375. 914-338-1375. Press the number 1 key if you have a question or comment. We'll put you in the queue. I want to go to the trailer here very quickly. Okay, we've got that right here. And just bear with me. I'm running everything. I'm running the boards. I'm running everything tonight because we're not on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. They are doing maintenance, so there are no live shows. There are no live shows on the radio station tonight. So since we're normally on at this time anyway, I said on Sundays, I said I'm going to go ahead and broadcast. Okay, so let me cue this up. Now, I want to remind you all that we know African American History Month is coming up, and we have 2 new classes starting up. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have 2 new classes starting up in February, 10-week online courses that I teach. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We deal with thousands of years of history, and we deal with what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We have a lot of bonus content for you, and you'll get a bonus of 15 lectures from me in digital download format with this bundle pack. Okay, so the Michael Imhotep Black History Month 15 DVD bundle pack, you're going to get that in digital download format. It's going to be some type of digital format. You'll get that with this as well. Okay, so this class is on sale, $80, regularly $130. As soon as you register, there's bonus content. You can start watching right away. You can join us in class. Saturday, February 5th, we do this class on Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There may be some days that we go past 4 p.m. You can join us live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. And as soon as you register, you can start watching content. It's at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. So this class will blow you away. We deal with ancient Africa, ancient Kemet, Nubia, Ta-Nehisi, Abyssinia, Ethiopia. We deal with things like Ghana, Songhai, Mali. We deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors. And we go through history chronologically, and we deal with what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place also. Okay. All right, so you can register for that class, and the other class that I teach, and let me see, we're going to post a link here. post the information for the class. The other class that I teach, the other class is going to be on Sundays. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. That's going to start up Sunday, February 6, 2022. As soon as you register, you can start watching content. That class is on sale, $80, regularly $130. We have a special bundle pack right now. You can register for both classes for only $120, okay? And with from the Civil Rights Movement, you get a the Black Migration 1619-2019 six lecture bundle pack. You get that included with this. It's in digital download format as well. So visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right, I want to go to this trailer here for the Janet Jackson documentary. And this gives some background information in case you haven't seen the documentary as well. Let me back up here. All right, here we go.
You've been very private about your personal life. Why did you want to do this documentary?
It's just something that needs to be done.
Who is Janet Jackson?
Oh, Janet Jackson's many women.
She's an empowered woman. She's a legend. She's a blueprint.
She is a warrior. Greatest show.
She's literally done it all.
She is a lot of the image that is out today.
It's very private. For her to want to open up, I'm fabulous. He gave up his spotlight to get the man in business with Jackson. There were times when I just didn't understand.
This is a story about control. Mind control.
Take that stage.
But now I know I've got to take it.
Talking about Mike. I can't. It's a magic relationship. It's just like you already said. That's what they call it.
This team have been trying to contact us about you doing the Super Bowl.
All right, so that's the official trailer from the two-night documentary on Lifetime. Featured in the documentary are, of course, Randy Jackson, her brother, one of her brothers, executive producer, along with her, Samuel L. Jackson, who you heard there in the trailer, Teyana Taylor, Tyler Perry, because remember Janet Jackson was in Why Did I Get Married, and the sequel to it. Paula Abdul, Regina King. They deal with movies like Poetic Justice. You have Q-Tip in here. I forgot. I didn't even realize Q-Tip was in Poetic Justice. Maybe I knew it back in the day when the movie came out, but I didn't even realize Q-Tip from De La Soul was in Poetic Justice. So you have the interview Q-Tip, Regina King, who was in Poetic Justice as well, Jermaine Dupri, who was her boyfriend. And then one of the things they deal with is her relationship with Renee, which I never understood and still really don't understand it. Relay Elizondo, I never really understood that relationship. And they dealt with it and how they got together and all that stuff. I still don't understand it. Okay, so check out the documentary on Lifetime. Okay, they talked about her marriage to James DeBarge and his drug abuse, which is, once again, I mean, the DeBarge family, very talented family. The drug addiction, largely due to the abuse, stemming from the abuse from the father and the demons that they're dealing with. But they dealt with this. You remember they got married young. They got an annulment after a year. She talked about her marriage to James DeBarge quickly ended due to his drug abuse, which is really sad. There's a picture of them back in the day. And I think a lot of people, wanted them to have a successful marriage, were rooting for them, but probably thought they were like too young to get married. And then they addressed the rumor about a secret child that she was supposed to have with James DeBarge, which is false as well. They dispelled that myth also. No, her eldest sister, Rebe, did not raise a secret love child on her behalf. There was no secret child, as well as she talked about. Now, they addressed the she talked about being in her brother's shadow as well, Michael Jackson. The greatest entertainer, probably greatest entertainer in the history of the world. They dealt with that also. Now, they talked about the Super Bowl. And there was let me see, I was looking at a couple articles from CNN also today, dealing with the Super Bowl. Now, they talked about the Super Bowl in part 2. So there is let's see here. There's one from, it's another article from Essence that deals with part 2, night 2, I should say, night 2. Let's look at this here, because she talks about the Super Bowl 2004. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis comment on this as well. I think it was Terry Lewis that talked about this. And they dealt with the allegations that the wardrobe malfunction was on purpose and nonsense like this. It's like, okay, so I think it's important for people to understand something about the Super Bowl. There's about 100 million people who watch the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is the largest one-day sporting event based upon viewership, the largest one-day sporting event. Okay. So when you have the Super Bowl halftime show, that's something that's huge. There's marketing that takes place usually leading up to the Super Bowl halftime show. Their commercials usually ran. There's press on it. We know social media back in 2004. I mean, keep in mind, YouTube didn't exist till 2005. So social media in 2004 was nowhere where it is now. Okay, you didn't have Instagram 2004. You didn't have Twitter. Twitter's founded about 2010. YouTube comes into existence in 2005. So you have more reliance on traditional media. Now, if you're the Super Bowl halftime act, You got about 100 million people watching you. And then you're Janet Jackson, one of the most popular entertainers in the world. This is after Rhythm Nation. So why would you, if you already have 100 million people watching you, why would you have to pull a stunt that's going to last for a second and a half to promote yourself, and you already have 100 million people watching you at the Super Bowl halftime show? And then the next morning on all the morning shows across the country, everything from Good Morning America to the Today Show, all the morning radio shows, all of that, they're going to already be talking about your performance, talking about the Super Bowl, talking about the Super Bowl halftime performance. There's going to be articles written on it, all this stuff. That's already going to happen. Why would you have to do a stunt that's going to last for a second and a half to promote yourself, and you already have 100 million people watching you, and you're going to have already press all across the country? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So this is something that they addressed in night 2. And I want to go to this here. And one of the things, you know, I remember when this happened at the time, she was disinvited from the Grammys because of this. And Justin Timberlake was given a pass, but it's like the black woman, she was the one that was ostracized. She was the one that was chastised. She was the one that was penalized. Let me see here. I want to see if I can find this here. Okay, they talked about her on Good Times. We all remember her as Penny on Good Times, but I did not know that she had to bind her chest. She was going through puberty, and she was developing, you know, breasts. So one of the things that we found out is that she revealed that she was physically bound to cover her burgeoning chest as a child on the set of Good Times. The experience, combined with criticism from lovers and well-meaning teasing from her brothers, added to body issues that haunted Janet Jackson throughout her adult life. This is something that we found out here. Okay, we all remember and love her as Penny on Good Times, but I didn't know that what happened on Good Times led to body, partly contributed to body issues that she suffered from later in life. Now, okay, so then they talked about, I don't even call it Nipplegate. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was an accident. It wasn't that big of a deal. Okay. There was a article from, let's see, Yahoo News picked up one that dealt with this specifically. I want to go to that one here. See if we can find that one from Yahoo. Yeah. Okay. So this piece here from Yahoo News, picked up from the Los Angeles Times. We'll look at this also, but I want to look at this. Essence did a good job here. There's a good article. I looked at a number of different articles here, preparing information for this segment of the show. The Today Show has a good one as well. 17 shocking revelations from night 2 of Janet Jackson's explosive documentary. We'll probably talk some more about this on tomorrow's show, because I have other topics I want to get to today. There was so much that was in the documentary. But if we look at this piece here from Essence, and okay, this is a picture here from Super Bowl. She advised Justin Timberlake against making a statement after the 2004 Super Bowl. The public has dragged Justin Timberlake for issuing a belated statement apologizing for not standing by Janet Jackson but she revealed that she okayed his inaction. She revealed that she okayed his inaction. She says she told him she didn't want any drama for him after the controversial Super Bowl appearance. Quote, "They're aiming this at me," she recalled telling him, if I were you, I wouldn't say anything. If I were you, I wouldn't say anything. But still, she shouldn't have been ostracized. I mean, this is how they treat African American women, and all you got to do is look at the attacks, and we'll talk about this on tomorrow's show. Look at the attacks on African American women because Joe Biden is going to nominate an African American woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. Look at the right. Look at criticism from a lot of Republicans, calling it affirmative action, saying he's racializing this, things like this. There's never been over 118 U.S. Supreme Court justices. There's never been an African American woman nominated. That sounds like affirmative action for white men to me. There's been over 118 Supreme Court justices, with the exception of about, I think, 6. All of them have been white men. That sounds like affirmative action for white men. So then you have somebody who says it's time to have an African American woman as Supreme Court justice. I'm going to nominate that. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now this article is a little old. It's from 2018. This is before Amy Coney Barrett, of course, white woman. Donald Trump said he's going to put a woman on the Supreme Court. Wasn't a problem. We all knew it was a white woman. Donald Trump said he was going to nominate a woman to the Supreme Court. We all knew it was going to be a white woman. We knew it wasn't going to be an African American woman. Of the 113 Supreme Court justices in the U.S. history, all but 6 have been white men. Okay. So at the time, 2018, at the time it was 113, but we know 3 more have been added. We know that let me see, there's 2018. Okay, I think that was after Kavanaugh. Let's see, in July announced his nominees, just Kavanaugh. If confirmed, he would be, yeah. So this is before Kavanaugh. So it's out of about 116 Supreme Court justices, all except 6 have been white men since 1790, since the Supreme Court was convened in 1790. That sounds like affirmative action for white men. That sounds like affirmative action for white men protecting the Supreme Court for white men. But, you know, okay. So we'll talk about this some more tomorrow's show. But I want to go to this piece here from Yahoo News. Janet Jackson says she and Justin Timberlake have moved on from Super Bowl scandal. January 30th, 2022. This is picked up from the Los Angeles Times. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake have moved on from the 2004 Super Bowl scandal, according to the Rhythm Nation hitmaker. And she wants the public to move on too. In the fourth part of her eponymous documentary, released Saturday, January 29th on Lifetime, Janet Jackson opened up about the fallout from the 2004 halftime show, during which Justin Timberlake accidentally exposed her breast by tearing away a piece of her costume. After discussing the toll the incident took on her mental health and career at length, Janet Jackson set the record straight about her relationship with Justin Timberlake in a video message filmed this year in Miami. And she said, honestly, this whole thing was blown way out of proportion. She said the recent footage. She said it was an accident that should not have happened, but everyone is looking for someone to blame. Everyone is looking for someone to blame, and that's got to stop. Justin and I are very good friends, and we will always be very good friends. We spoke just a few days ago, and he and I have moved on, and it is time for everyone else to do the same, end quote. Now, last year, Justin Timberlake publicly apologized to Janet Jackson after the FX documentary Framing Britney Spears landed him in hot water. In the wake of the documentary's release, many accused Justin Timberlake of mistreating his ex-girlfriend, Britney Spears, as well as Janet Jackson during their shared time in the limelight. Okay, so we know Janet Jackson shouldered most of the blame and negative consequences, like she was uninvited from the Grammys, while Justin Timberlake's career continued to flourish. He's like, wait a second, they were both on the stage at the same time. You know, because some of us are sitting back looking at this and like, wait, hold on, man, wait a second. This is all over something that happened for a second and a half. All this outrage. That once again, many of us said back then, they said, dude, it was an accident. I mean, she don't have to do something like that to get publicity. You already got 100 million people watching you at the Super Bowl halftime show. You don't have to do something like that to gain publicity. I mean, maybe if it was somebody, maybe if it was somebody that hadn't won any Grammys or hadn't won any awards and nobody knew who they were or something like that, and it's a new artist on stage with somebody like a Nelly, and something like that happens, you make that argument. But Janet Jackson, this is after the Rhythm Nation tour. So Janet Jackson shouldered most of the blame and negative consequences while Justin Timberlake's career continued to flourish. That year, for example, the Recording Academy banned Janet Jackson from attending the Grammy Awards, but invited Justin Timberlake to perform at the ceremony. They banned her from attending. They said she couldn't sit her black ass at the Grammy Awards. They didn't ban her from performing. I want people to just understand the stupidity of this and just the hypocrisy of this. Now, if they treat an African-American woman like Janet Jackson like this, who's a multimillionaire, then how do they treat the average African-American woman? If they treated an African-American woman like Janet Jackson, who has sold millions of records at this point, 2004, known internationally, they treat her like that, then you look at how some of these Republicans are going crazy just over President Joe Biden announcing he's going to nominate an African-American woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. He ain't say who yet. Just the threat got some of these Republicans running scared, going crazy, and saying, oh, it's affirmative action, things like this. But white people had affirmative action for 246 years. It was called slavery. So the Recording Academy banned Janet Jackson from attending the Grammy Awards. They didn't ban her from performing. They said she couldn't come and sit her ass there and watch. But they invited Justin Timberlake to perform at the ceremony. I specifically want to apologize to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson, both individually, because I care for and respect these women, and I know I failed. Justin Timberlake said in February 2021 in a statement, the industry is flawed. It's men, especially white men, up for success. At least he got it right. It's mainly white men. It's designed this way. As a man in a privileged position, I have to be vocal about this. Well, you got it halfway right. You should say as a white man in a privileged position, you have to be vocal about this. He said, because of my ignorance, I didn't recognize it for all that it was while it was happening in my own life. I not want to ever benefit from others being pulled down again, end quote. So the Lifetime docuseries also reveals that Justin Timberlake asked Janet Jackson to guest star in his 2018 Super Bowl performance, but Janet Jackson declined. So he asked her. So I don't know. I don't remember hearing about this before, but he asked her to perform in his 2018 Super Bowl performance, but Janet Jackson declined. The pair of recording artists first met when Justin Timberlake's former boy band NSYNC opened for Janet Jackson on tour in 1998. So read this piece here. This is originally from the Los Angeles Times. It's a good article by Christy Karras. Janet Jackson says she and Timberlake have moved on from Super Bowl scandal. But when we look at this, right, and we look at the treatment of so you have to come back to this. You have to come back to this question. If the Grammys, the Recording Academy, if white people treat an African-American woman who's a multimillionaire, sold millions of records, made white people hundreds of millions of dollars, and she's known internationally, if they treated her like that, how do they treat the average African-American woman? All right. So check out these articles. We'll talk about this some more on tomorrow's show. How's everybody doing? Calling numbers is 914-338-1375 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. We have a special number for today because we're not on 9-10 a.m. Superstation WFDF. We'll be on tomorrow. 914-338-1375 is the call-in number. If you have a question or comment, you have a brief question or comment. We don't have time for dissertations and manifestos. Press the number 1 key to put you in queue so we can bring you on the air. I'm going to go to this next story here in just a second. This deals with African-American farmers. This deals with economics. And also, we know Janet Jackson lost a lot of money behind what happened at the Super Bowl, how she was ostracized. We saw the attacks on Michael Jackson. One of the things they dealt with was attacks on Michael Jackson and the allegations of molesting children and all different types of things like that. And she said Michael, wouldn't do anything like that. So check out these articles. Now, I want to go to this next story here. Just a second. I want to remind you, if you want me to do a presentation for your group or organization, email me at AHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We know African American History Month is coming up, and the month of February. I can do virtual presentations, in-person presentations, in-state, out-of-state. Let me know. So visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have the information there. If you want to advertise with the African History Network, email us at AHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Our current promotion, buy 1 month, get 2 months free. And we have 3 new advertising packages to help you promote your African-American owned business. Okay. Register for the online classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. Class number one, we're kicking this off for African American History Month. You don't want to miss this. Register now. Class number 1 of Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa. Kemet, one of the original names for Egypt. Starts up Saturday, February 5th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a 10-week online course I teach. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips, all of that. Guest speakers. So this class is going to blow you away. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. When we deal with the transatlantic slave trade, we can't start studying our history and slavery. We have to deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Okay, we deal with the African presence in the Americas, also going back tens of thousands of years, especially dealing with the Khoisan, who Dr. David Imhotep deals with in his book, The First Americans Were Africans, Documented Evidence. Okay, so as soon as you register, you can start. We have some bonus content you can watch, and the my 15 lecture bundle pack, the Michael Imhotep 15 lecture bundle pack that we have on our website. You're gonna get that as a bonus in digital format. You'll get that as a bonus in digital format when you register for this online course. It's on sale right now, $80, regularly $130. And even after the class is over with, you still have full access to the class. You can watch it. We just posted the link here, and it's at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And then on Sundays, starting February 6, 2022, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be teaching the second online class that I teach, 10-week online course, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. So this second class, this basically picks up where the first class leaves off. And we start in 1830 with the Louisiana Purchase, okay? And we deal with the Haitian Revolution, and we deal with what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade. We deal with what leads up to the Civil War taking place. And then we deal with 1861, 1865, and then Reconstruction, and we deal with Jim Crow era, World War I, World War II, Great Migration, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power Movement. Okay. So this class is on sale, $80, regularly $130. As a bonus, you're going to get my 6 lecture bundle pack, Black Migration 1619 to 2019. You're going to get that as a bonus with this as well. That's at least a $60 value. Okay, so you can register for that at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. And if you register for my classes in the past, email me at TheAHNShow at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll give you a discount on these new classes also. Okay, I'll check the records. But if you register for my online classes in the past, we're going to give you a discount on these new classes. All right, so I want to go to this next story here. I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm a panelist on Roland Martin Unfiltered each Friday, usually each Friday. And even before I was on Roland's show, you know, I've been talking about the plight of African-American farmers. And we dealt with the African-American farmers who were suing a soybean company, who suing the Stein Seed Company because they alleged they were sold fake soybeans. This is a few years ago. And we've been talking about, okay, we'll go to the phone lines in just a second there. Call in 313, just stand by. We'll come to you just a second. We've been talking about the African-American farmers and their the $4 billion in loan forgiveness, debt forgiveness that's in the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan for African-American farmers and Latino farmers, things like this, and how that's being held up in court because white farmers are suing, saying that they're being discriminated against because they can't take advantage of the loan forgiveness. Well, John Boyd, who's the president of the National Black Farmers Association, he's calling out Pepsi, PepsiCo, Pepsi, Frito-Lay. Okay. He's calling out Pepsi, and he's saying that they're backing out of a verbal agreement to give contracts to grow potatoes and other contracts to African-American farmers. Okay. To African-American farmers. And this is something huge. And I had not heard about this issue here with African-American farmers. So we're going to go to this in just a second. I want to go to the phone lines here because we have this caller here from the 313 holding. So I want to go to the phone lines here. Just a second here. I'm running everything tonight. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. Let's bring this caller on. Just a second here. Let me flip back over on Blog Talk Radio. Okay, caller in the 313. Welcome to the African History Network show right here tonight on Blog Talk Radio and our social media platforms. You're on the air. Caller in the 313. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Are you talking with me right now?
Yes.
I'm Fly Girl. I'm calling from Detroit.
Fly Girl. Oh, okay. Okay. Did you have a question or comment, Fly Girl? I know you're watching us on social media.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've been following the nomination of the black woman that Biden is going to choose.
Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court.
U.S. Supreme Court. And as a black woman myself, I'm educated. I got my master's degree. I got all this education. I am very, very. The earlier comments I've been seeing have not been good from some of these woke black people out here, and I am very, very disappointed with that.
When you say woke black people, can you give us some examples of what you're talking about? When you say woke black people, like who you're talking about? What did they say?
You know, they're saying that if this person gets nominated, she won't be able to do this, and that's not going to change the condition for black people. You know, the police doing things to black people, and the same type of comments. As soon as somebody who's educated or get nominated for something, everybody wants them to solve every problem in the black community, or you know, or it's just a symbolism. There's no substance to anything. It's the same type of comments you tend to get. And much of this is just attack on black women in general. I am not saying everyone is doing this, but some of the earlier comments that I've been seeing is not very good. And some of it is just outright negative.
Right. Well, let me just comment on that and I'll let you finish. What a lot of people don't understand is that the judicial branch of the federal government interprets law from the legislative branch of the federal government. The judicial branch of the federal government, federal courts, Federal Court of Appeals, U.S. Supreme Court, rules on cases dealing with civil asset forfeiture. They rule on cases dealing with policing. They rule on cases dealing with voting rights, like the voting rights bill, like the voter legislation in Arizona. So they don't understand the role that the courts play. The first thing they should do is read the U.S. Constitution. They don't understand the role that the courts play. And if this was not significant, you wouldn't have this backlash that just this announcement is getting from the right wing, from a lot of Republicans, because there's already a fear of the browning of America. And this is why Republicans work so hard to, one, take control of the U.S. Senate in 2014 so they can block President Obama's federal court nominations and any Supreme Court nominations. Two, why they work so hard to get Donald Trump elected, even though for many of them, Donald Trump wasn't their first, second, third, fourth, or fifth pick. But go back to 2016, many Republicans said this election is about the U.S. Supreme Court. This is about the federal judges. This is about overturning Roe versus Wade, because they want to control the federal bench for the next 35, 40 years or more, because those are lifetime appointments. So this is significant. It's not going to change everything, but you have to understand that U.S. Supreme Court rules on legislation and challenges the legislation that's passed in the legislative branch of the federal government, and the Supreme Court also rules on challenges to executive orders coming from the White House as well. Go ahead and finish your point.
Well, I understand those those issues. I think that we have so many of these people who get a platform who doesn't understand that process,
Right.
that it does make a difference, because all the laws, all the rulings come from the Supreme Court. They interpret that.
Federal court,
And
federal court of appeals, U.S. Supreme Court.
right. So it does influence our lives.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It does influence that. And, this was presented to Obama, but Obama didn't go through with this. So now
he nominated
Biden.
he nominated African American to the federal bench, but not to the U.S. Supreme Court.
But not to the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
So now Biden is doing this because there's been pressure on him to do this, and now he's going through with this.
Well, no. Let's go back. This was a campaign promise he made on the debate stage.
Right. He did.
Yeah, he this is a campaign promise he made on the debate stage. Representative James Clyburn was interviewed on MSNBC a couple of days ago. He urged then candidate Biden to say it publicly on the debate stage.
Right.
Okay, so here,
right.
So now that Justice Breyer has announced that he's retiring, Biden is formally announced when he was there with Justice Breyer with the formal announcement that Breyer was retiring. He formally announced he was going to nominate an African American woman to the Supreme Court, as he previously said he would do.
Yes, I understand that, but why is it now we're getting these Black people who are, let's say, on YouTube saying these things that I'm reading, things that I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Is it based? Don't understand the process themselves too?
They don't understand the process, and that's part of their platform. That's how they make money. They don't understand the process. Like, you got somebody here saying having a Black president didn't change much when it comes to Black people being killed by police. The majority of control over policing is not the federal level, it's at the state level. This is what happens when people don't understand the 10th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, because they haven't read the U.S. Constitution and they don't understand law. But what President Obama did do is under his two attorney generals, there were more investigations into the patterns and practices of police departments than any previous administration. There were about 24, 25 investigations into police departments that led to 14 or 15 consent decrees when President Trump became president, because people don't study any of this stuff and don't understand the Department of Justice. You need to go to justice.gov, the official website of the Department of Justice, to do some research. When Trump became president through the Electoral College, because he lost the popular vote, the investigations into the patterns and practices of police departments stopped. There was only one in 4 years under Trump. There have been 3 announced in the first year under Merrick Garland. But Jeff Sessions, who was Donald Trump's first attorney general, this shows you how a lot of people on social media have no clue what they're talking about. Jeff Sessions was against criminal justice reform. One of the first, and he was against increased control over policing. One of the first things Jeff Sessions did was said they were going to back off of these investigations into the police departments. This is one of the first things Jeff Sessions did. This was in 2017 when he became attorney general. So most of these people talking are don't know any of this. That's why they can't explain any of this. This is what I study. Okay. And in politics,
I agree with you. I agree with that. That too many of these people, they have followers, do not do any research, and they do not intend to do anything because they have an agenda. That's why too often the Black community is been misinformed because of people, that, have a platform of followers. They get a lot of misinformation.
Right. All right, Fly Girl. Well, go ahead with your last statement, and then you can call back in tomorrow night.
I was just going to say, yeah, I will just say I appreciate what you've done. I've been following you,
Oh,
and I
thank you.
do watch you on Roland Martin, and I want to thank you for listening to me.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Bye
Okay.
bye.
Oh, thanks. And what people have to understand is the reversal that took place under the Jeff Sessions and um, William Barr Department of Justice. How you had a reversal of the policy. For instance, nobody's going to, a lot of these people comment on social media are not telling you this because they don't study this. 2013, under Eric Holder, they instituted the smart on crime police, smart on crime policing policy. What they did was they backed off of charging low-level nonviolent drug offenders with the harshest sentences. This was under Attorney General Eric Holder, nominated by President Barack Obama. What did Jeff Sessions do when he became Attorney General under Trump? He reversed that. Did you know that the U.S. prison population in December 2015 dropped to its lowest point in like 20 years under President Obama? When I see simple Simon ass people on social media post stuff like this, it's better to remain silent and have people think that you are a fool than to open up your mouth and remove all doubt. This is what happens when you don't do research. So let's look at this, because I've done 2016. I did a lecture dealing with the history of the war on drugs, going back to June 17th, 1971, Richard Nixon declaring his war on drugs. This is how people don't understand politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement, and don't understand the role of the Department of Justice. Don't understand the role of the executive branch of the federal government, the White House, the president. Don't understand the role of the legislative branch of the federal government, the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate. But the first thing you have to do is read the U.S. Constitution, because the majority of control over policing is at the state and local level. But that doesn't mean there's not a role for the federal government to play. One of the things that Jeff Sessions did when he became Attorney General, he tried to back out of the consent decrees with the Chicago Department and the Baltimore Police Department that the Obama administration entered into. Let me see. Let me find. I want to pull up this article here. Now, something else that we saw that happened when Trump became president. Under the Obama administration in 2016, they announced that they were not going to renew contracts with privatized prisons. Everybody want to talk about privatized prisons. Well, under the Obama administration, they said they were not going to renew those contracts. The day that announcement came out, the stock price of Core Civic, which used to be called Corrections Corporation of America, and Geo Group, two of the largest owner-operators of privatized prisons, took a huge dip the day that announcement came out. So then, during the 2016 presidential campaign, the same people who run their mouths on social media with this nonsense don't tell you that Core Civic and Geo Group donated almost $600,000 to Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. Then, when Trump became president, what did Jeff Sessions do? Jeff Sessions rescinded that policy from the Obama administration, and they renewed contracts with privatized prisons. And you think elections don't have consequences? You're a dumbass. Jeff Sessions rolls back Obama-era drug sentencing reforms. This is the type of research I do. Go watch the lecture that I did in, I think it was 2017. And African-American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. Where I go break down all this stuff. And I was explaining this during the presidential election 2016, warning people about Donald Trump, and they thought this was just about Trump versus Hillary. I'm like, no, this is about the trajectory of the country for the next 20, 30 years. You know what's at stake? Jeff Sessions, Donald Trump's first attorney general, rolls back Obama-era drug sentencing reforms. The attorney general says a harsher approach is moral and just. This is how elections have consequences. Jeff Sessions, now, if you don't know who Jeff Sessions is, senator from Alabama. Jeff Sessions in 1986, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III. Okay, PGT Beauregard, one of the heroes of the Confederacy, and Jefferson Davis, who was the president of the Confederacy. That's who he's named after. In 1986, do you realize Jeff Sessions was up for a federal judgeship and he was deemed too racist to be a federal judge, but Donald Trump nominated him as his attorney general? And your dumb ass think that elections don't have consequences? Attorney General Jeff Sessions instructed federal prosecutors this week to take the most aggressive approach possible against federal criminal defendants. Now, he didn't mean black criminal defendants. He just meant white criminal defendants. Okay. See, they were excluding this. See, this policy excluded black criminal defendants because this policy didn't say black or African American, therefore it didn't apply to us. It just applies to white people. That's that simple Simon ass logic that you get from people on YouTube. Attorney General Jeff Sessions instructed federal prosecutors this week to take the most aggressive approach possible against federal criminal defendants. The policy change will result in lengthier prison sentences for drug offenders and likely reverse a recent drop in the federal prison population that happened under the Obama administration because dumbass people don't read. In a memo dated May 10th, 2017, Jeff Sessions wrote federal prosecutors, quote, should charge and pursue the most serious, readily provable offense, end quote, calling that a, quote, core principle, end quote, of the Justice Department's charging and sentencing policy under Donald Trump, because Jeff Sessions, everybody knew Jeff Sessions was against criminal justice reform. Jeff Sessions was a friend of the police. He was against holding police accountable. This is why when he became attorney, well, this is why Trump nominated him. Trump wasn't for no damn criminal justice reform. Trump ran on the platform of law and order and said it numerous times. He ran on the platform of law and order, which was a throwback to Richard Nixon in 1968, who ran on the platform of law and order. And Richard Nixon was a backlash to the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, the rebellions taking place all across the country. He was a backlash to affirmative action. He was a backlash to any perceived gains that African Americans were making from the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement. And Donald Trump was a throwback to that. But because people don't understand history, they didn't see the parallels and realize Trump needed to be stopped. This is what I was talking about on this show in 2016. And when I was doing Roland Martin's Nationally Syndicated Radio Show in 2016, when I was doing my Nationally Syndicated Radio Show, and when I was on 910 AM Superstation as well, 2016, I was warning people about what was going to happen. People didn't want to listen. If you understood history, you saw Trump coming and realized we needed to stop him. Too many of our people are ignorant of history. The new policy replaces the approach of the Justice Department during the Obama administration under former Attorney Generals Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch. This is reversing the policies because under the Obama administration, they backed off of charging the low-level nonviolent drug offenders with the harshest, longest sentences. Jeff Sessions said, oh, no. We going after them. They gave federal prosecutors under the Obama administration, they gave federal prosecutors more leeway to decide when it was appropriate to charge crimes that trigger mandatory minimums, which automatically result in set prison terms. This is Jefferson Beauregard Sessions III, your friend, not mine. Attorney General Jeff Sessions' memorandum nixes a 2010 Obama administration memo, which encouraged federal prosecutors to make decisions on charging plea agreements and sentencing recommendations. Jeff Sessions reversed all that. He said, oh, no, we ain't doing that. This policy affirms our responsibility to enforce the law is moral and just and produces consistency, Jeff Sessions wrote in a new memo. The policy fully utilizes the tools Congress has given us. By definition, the most serious offenses are those that carry the most substantial guidelines sentence, including mandatory minimum sentences. Read the rest of this article here. This is from 2017. We still haven't learned. This is from 2017. People still haven't learned. I don't know why. If you watch this show, you know this. I'm going to post this link here. Go read this. So then, let's look at this one here from the Washington Post. Because people don't think elections have consequences. They think this is just about a president. Oh, President Obama ain't do this, didn't do that. Your dumb ass don't read. That's why. How Jeff Sessions wants to bring back the war on drugs. If you got to bring it back, doesn't that mean it was leaving in the first place? Did you know the war on drugs was winding down under the Obama administration and it ramped back up under the Trump administration? How Jeff Sessions wants to bring back the war on drugs. April 8th, 2017. Trump took the oath of office January 20th, 2017. When the Obama administration launched a sweeping policy to reduce harsh sentences for nonviolent drug offenders, rave reviews came from across the political spectrum, because those are people that actually read. Civil rights groups and the Koch brothers praised President Obama for his efforts, saying he was making the criminal justice system more humane. But there was one person who watched these developments with some horror. Stephen H. Cook, a former street cop who became a federal prosecutor based in Knoxville, Tennessee, saw nothing wrong with how the system worked. Not the life sentences, not sentences for drug charges, not the huge growth of the prison population. And he went everywhere. Bill O'Reilly's show on Fox News, congressional hearings, public panels, to spread a different gospel. Quote, the federal criminal justice system simply is not broken. In fact, it's working exactly as designed, Cook said at a criminal justice panel at the Washington Post last year. The Obama administration largely ignored Cook, who was then president of the National Association of Assistant U.S. Attorneys, but he won't be overlooked anymore. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has brought Cook into his inner circle at the Justice Department, appointing him to be one of his top lieutenants to help undo the criminal policies of Obama and former Attorney General Eric Holder, as Jeff Sessions has traveled to different cities to preach his tough on crime philosophy. Cook has been at his side. See, these people playing grandmaster level chess. And you got many of our people running around playing beginner's checkers and don't even understand all the rules to checkers. Getting wiped off the political chessboard. The two men are eager to bring back the national crime strategy of the 1980s and 90s from the peak of the drug war, an approach that had fallen out of favor in recent years as minority communities grapple with the effects of mass incarceration. But you think elections don't have consequences. Read this article here. I've got tons of them. This is the type of research I do. I've got tons of this stuff. But we don't have tons of time, so let's move on. I'm going to show you this slide here. Then we're going to get to the story about the black farmers, because I just find it interesting when these people on social media have diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain, don't do research. I just find it very interesting. Let me see here. African-American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, and reparations, how elections have consequences. May 27th, 2017. I just want to show you something. Most people are not familiar with this. And let's see, we're going to go to the black farmer story here in just a second. Calling number is 914-338-1375. 914-338-1375 is the calling number if you have a quick question or comment. We're going to go to the black farmers here in just a second, because I want you, this is some more information that we don't know about. But this is a presentation I did in 2017 and 2018. And it's on, we have it at our website on DVD. I think it's on digital download format also. I'm going to, when you register for my online classes, I'm going to include this lecture. You're going to get this lecture free when you register for my online classes, because this information right here will blow people away. If we knew this in this is stuff I was talking about on the radio in 2017, in 2016, when I was on 9:10 a.m. and when I was on Wake Up with Steve Hood, the morning show. Steve Hood, we know, passed away last year in 2021. My friend Steve Hood, who put me on the radio on 9:10 a.m. That's how I got my show. This right here, let's see, where is that? I want to go to, is Jeff Sessions and which one is that? Where is it? Oh, is that it? No, that's dealing with voter suppression in North Carolina. That's not what I want. That's dealing with voter suppression from the Supreme Court in Ohio, but Supreme Court don't matter. Voter suppression to Ohio. Supreme Court ensures thousands of Ohio ballots will be thrown out for small errors, but the U.S. Supreme Court, but see, Supreme Court don't matter. That's why they work to just make it all white men on the Supreme Court since 1790, almost. But see, that doesn't matter. Okay. Federal lawsuits filed in 5 states after African-American voters purged from registration rolls targeted for intimidation by the Trump campaign. Okay, but see that don't matter. Where's the one I want? Oh, this right here. Is this the slide I want? Well, this is the article. This is the story from NBC News about what we just talked about, what I showed you from Huffington Post. AG Jeff Sessions redeclares the war on drugs. Attorney General Jeff Sessions instructed federal prosecutors on Friday, May 12, 2017, to take the most aggressive approach possible against federal criminal defendants for low-level drug offenses. He ordered them to stop seeking leniency for low-level drug offenders and to start seeking the toughest possible penalties. That's what federal authorities used to do when the war on drugs fueled the passage of mandatory minimum sentencing laws. All right, now this, so you can read this article here. This is from NBC News. Attorney General Jeff Sessions charts course back to long drug sentences. But people don't understand how elections have consequences. You realize there were over 4,000 positions that Donald Trump had to fill in his administration? This ain't about one person versus another person. You ever read the U.S. Constitution? Go to loc.gov, Library of Congress website, or archives.gov, National Archives. But under former President Barack Obama, the Justice Department tried to rein in the use of those statutes, which advocates say were used disproportionately against minorities and led to massive prison overcrowding. The policy change will result in lengthier prison sentences for low-level drug offenders and likely reverse a recent drop in the federal prison population. That happened under the recent drop happened under the Obama administration. Newsweek.com, the U.S. prison population exceeded 1.5 million in 2015. It dropped to its lowest point in 20 years in December 2015. The U.S. prison population dropped to, U.S. prison population fell the most in almost 4 decades to 1.53 million, resulting in the lowest rate of incarceration in a generation. This was under President Obama. The Department of Justice said on Thursday, the drop has been driven by changes in federal and state correction policies that include drug treatment programs and the sentencing of fewer nonviolent drug offenders to federal prisons. The department said in its year-end report on prison populations. This is Newsweek.com. The U.S. prison population exceeded 1.5 million in 2015. But it dropped to its lowest point in 20 years in December 2015 under the Obama administration, because the prison population declined for 8 consecutive years under the Obama administration. I'm not sure why people don't talk about this. This is the slide I was looking for, because people, once again, don't understand how elections have consequences. Attorney General Jeff Sessions is against the science. The Republican war on science has come to the U.S. Department of Justice with the decision of Attorney General Jeff Sessions, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, to eliminate the National Commission on Forensic Sciences, NCFS. You ever heard of the National Commission on Forensic Sciences? This is my lecture from 2017. Just so people understand. This is my lecture that I did in 2017, a number of times. The commission, the National Commission on Forensic Sciences, was started by President Barack Obama in 2013 in partnership with the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the NIST, at the U.S. Department of Commerce to enhance the practice and improve the reliability of forensic science. The commission includes forensic science service providers on the federal, state, and local level, research scientists and academics, law enforcement, judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and other stakeholders, according to its website. Because this commission was put together to review these different standards because they wanted to make sure that people weren't being convicted based upon faulty science. So this is a commission that President Barack Obama started in 2013, the National Commission on Forensic Science, in partnership with the National Institute of Standards and Technology at the U.S. Department of Commerce to enhance the practice and improve the reliability of forensic science. Well, Jeff Sessions, he didn't like that. And people didn't understand what was at stake. Many African Americans didn't understand what was at stake in the 2016 presidential election. They thought it was just one person versus another person. They didn't understand all these policy changes that would take place and how it would affect African Americans. And still, most of them still don't, for that matter. The purpose of the NCFS is to ensure the reliability of forensic science so that innocent people are not sent to prison or put to death for crimes that they did not commit. But this don't have nothing to do with black people because it don't say black or African American. Hundreds, but more likely thousands of innocent people have been condemned due to junk science and unsound forensic evidence and techniques. The importance of this Obama era initiative was underscored when in 2015, the FBI conducted a review of 3,000 cases involving microscopic hair samples and discovered that its analysts provided erroneous testimony 96% of the time, and discovered that its analysts provided erroneous testimony 96% of the time. So what did Jeff Sessions do when he became Donald Trump's attorney general? He was nominated by Donald Trump to become attorney general. Jeff Sessions disbanded this commission. He said it wasn't necessary. Okay. AG Sessions' forensic panel helps keep innocent people in prison unnecessarily. AtlantaBlackStar.com, April 15, 2017. Go research that. Jeff Sessions said it wasn't necessary. Oh, we don't need this. It was not necessary. We're going to disband this. Obama put this together. Oh, we can get that stuff out of here. No, we don't need that. Okay, whatever. Let's go to this next story. We've heard about the plight of African American farmers, and we talked about that here for a number of years here on this show. And that's not the one I want. I want to go to. We're going to the John Boyd story. Let's pull this up. We talked about this on Friday on Roland Martin Unfiltered, and we spoke with John Boyd. I'm going to let you hear that. Let you hear that interview that we did with John Boyd. I got a chance to ask him a question as well. Okay, we'll go to that here in just a second. Also, forgot to tell you, because we need support. If you like this type of information, give us a thumbs up, a heart, a like, whatever on social media on the video. You can also support the African History Network, $ TheAHNShow through Cash App, $ TheAHNShow through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/TheAHNShow. That helps us stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay these bills for all these services that I have to use, keep doing the research, everything. All right. And then we have the information also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. This is our official Cash App account, $ TheAHNShow through Cash App. Okay, where is it? It's up here. This is our official Cash App account, $ TheAHNShow, SHOW. When you go to it, it'll say Michael and show my picture there. This one right here. These other ones are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. That's not me. I did not set those up. If you sent money to those, go through Cash App and it should be able to get your money back. And also, we have the yellow donate button. You can support us through PayPal as well. PayPal.me/TheAHNShow. And I know through PayPal, you can set up for a recurring donation if you want to as well. All right. So let's go to the story here. So John Boyd of the National Black Farmers Association is calling out Pepsi, the soft drink people. I mean, they own Frito-Lay, things like this. Boyd calls out Pepsi for all talk and no contracts for National Black Farmer members. Okay, now this is from a PR Newswire, January 27th, 2022. John Boyd, president of the of the National Black Farmers Association, today called out PepsiCo, for continued discrimination after a year and a half of all talk and no contract following a verbal commitment. Now, Pepsi, the giant food and beverage company, seems to value a positive public image less than profitability. Most recently, it has added dismissive treatment of African American farmers to a long list of complaints about its negative environmental impacts, deforestation and pesticide use, exploitation of water resources, and global plastic pollution, according to a Wikipedia report. In addition, Pepsi, which was created in 1960, PepsiCo, which was created in 1965 by Pepsi's merging with the Frito-Lay brand, not only has been repeatedly criticized by environmentalists, but health advocates have complained about its high-calorie, poor nutrition products, along with other snack and drink companies. Now, who do you think gets targeted disproportionately during TV shows that we watch for these high-calorie, poor nutrition products? I'll give you one guess. African Americans and Hispanics, we get disproportionately targeted for this. Okay, now I'm not beating up on somebody that has a Pepsi every now and then, something like that, or eats Frito-Lays every night, but you have to start looking. See, my background's in marketing. My degree is in business administration with a major in marketing from Wayne State University. I've been studying history for 30 years. I'm a historian also, but my degree is in business administration. So when I look, the commercials, all this stuff is programming. I understand the programming. Okay. So I look at this differently than a lot of other people. This is why you hear me talk about entertainment as programming, because I understand that there's programming. That's messaging in there. Okay. And your thoughts create feelings, your feelings create actions and behaviors, your actions and behaviors create results. So you can manipulate people based upon controlling their circumference of awareness and controlling the images in the information that they have. All right, now, public health advocates have complained about its high-calorie, poor nutrition products, along with other snack and drink companies. In 2019, a Johns Hopkins University student group dedicated to food sustainability and human ethics protested the campus dining office's contract with PepsiCo, calling on the unit to reject, quote, socially and ecologically unsustainable practices of profit-hungry corporations, end quote. The multi-billion-dollar leader in its category seems to regard social responsibility and health standards and environmental concerns as optional values. Now, Pepsi has vowed to uphold commitments to those issues, but has declined to release public information documenting progress on changing company practices. Although Coca-Cola, its main competitor, has bigger sales, PepsiCo within the North American market is the largest food and beverage company by net revenue, which was reported at $70 billion in 2020. That's net revenue. That's not gross revenue. PepsiCo is in the North American market the largest food and beverage
90 seconds.
the largest food and beverage company, which reported $70 billion in net income in 2020. Now, those listening on Blog Talk Radio, we're about to run out of time on Blog Talk. So watch us on Facebook, our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. All right. So we're about to run out of time here on Blog Talk, and visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Those watching on social media platforms, keep watching. All right. Now, let's continue here. Okay, so we spoke with John Boyd on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, January 28th. I want to go to that interview here.
All right, folks, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered. Let's talk about National Black Farmers. We've talked about the plight that they have been, the fight they've been involved in with the federal government when it comes to getting COVID relief money. Now, the National Black Farmers Association president is calling out PepsiCo over what he calls empty promises. John Boyd says the company has been all talk and has not issued any contracts to black farmers after vowing to increase the number of contracts awarded last year. He joins us now from Virginia. John, glad to have you on the show. So exactly what's the issue that you have with PepsiCo? What's going on?
Well, the issue, Roland, thank you for having me. The issue's been going on for a very, very long time. We've been challenging PepsiCo to do business with black farmers, where we helped raise the issue about Aunt Jemima pancake to face this on the box. They changed the picture on the box, but they didn't change the way that they do business. They aren't doing any contracts in the form of potatoes or corn, two things that every black farmer in this country can grow. I don't know a black farmer that can't grow a potato and an ear of corn. And they refuse to do any contracts after leading us on for a year and a half. We met all of the criteria to grow the potatoes and corn, soil and contents and things of this nature. All of these things we can do. And we proved that to the company, PepsiCo. And after we've done that, we crossed all the hurdles. At the 99th hour, when we're ready to move forward with contracts, the company says, oh, well, now we're going in a different direction, and we don't think that we're going to be contracting with black farmers. There's only two directions to go in here. Black, which they don't have any black growers, or you continue to do more business with white farmers. All of their farmers' contracts are rolling are white men, white male farmers. And it's time to change that. You know, they say these things and they put out these great diversity statements on how they're going to include blacks that never trickle down to the actual people who's supposed to be doing and benefiting from these contracts.
So we reach out to PepsiCo with regards to the press release that you issued earlier. This is what they just sent us. It is incorrect to equate our decision not to pursue a further relationship with John Boyd with a lack of interest in working with the farmers of the National Black Farmers Association or black growers in general. Unfortunately, despite our repeated requests made of John Boyd, we were unable to meet with NBFA members and were not given the opportunity to assess their operational capabilities. As part of our racial equality journey, PepsiCo remains committed to increasing black representation in the agricultural supply chain and working with black growers on efficiency, productivity, and sustainability. We are proud that over the past 2 years, we have increased our spend with black suppliers by more than $150 million, including a significant increase in our spend with black-owned farms. We're also proud to serve on the corporate advisory board of the National Black Growers Council, working to further increase our spend with black growers and remove systemic barriers for their operations. Now, let's address the first item here. When they say we were unable to meet with NBFA members and were not given the opportunity to assess their operational capabilities, how do you respond to that?
That's definitely not true, Roland. And they wanted us to give us intricate details about our membership list, where we invited PepsiCo to come out to our conference and to be a speaker at our conference, and neither one happened. They're the ones who haven't been responsive. They haven't, as a matter of fact, they haven't been responsive for years. And that's what these Fortune 500 companies do. When leaders like myself call them out, when we called out John Deere, they'll run and find a softer black face that will say nice things about the company. But in all reality, John Deere doesn't treat us any better than it did before. And PepsiCo comes out with a similar statement that John Deere just did. And all reality, Roland, we still don't have any contracts. After we met all of the criteria from soil samples, their specialists came out and said, hey, we should be doing business with you guys. And then they retract and say, we want to go in a different direction. That's what these companies do. And they need to be held accountable in the black community, and other black leaders should be accountable for their actions when they let these companies off the hook and they don't provide any real substantive contracts and things that benefit, in this case, the black farmers community across the board.
So, okay. And so in terms of in terms of assessing operational capabilities, when you say they wanted the list, and so did y'all ever sit down and meet? Did NBFA ever lay out, these are this is what our members are, this is our capability? And so were these in-person meetings? Were they Zoom meetings due to COVID? And how often did y'all meet?
Yes, and great questions. These are all Zoom calls, and the person that was at the table was Keith something at PepsiCo, who was supposed to be the buyer for potatoes and corn. And for the people that are watching, this isn't something new. These talks have been going on for a year and a half, and now all of a sudden they say they're on somebody else's board. They're going to try to do something with other people. Roland, that's what these companies do to blacks and black leaders in this country. It's called dividing. It's called divide and conquer. And this is one time I'm not going to sit back and not say anything. It's not right when people sell you out and not get substance contracts and things for black farmers in this case, either in John Deere and in this case, PepsiCo. I'm not letting these companies off the hook. We met all the criteria. And like I said earlier, I don't know a black farmer in this country that can't grow a potato if he was provided a contract, and can't grow an ear of corn if we were provided a contract. The issue here is PepsiCo hasn't granted us any contracts. They can do the same thing that they're doing with white farmers. I don't need a different contract than what they got. Give us the same opportunity to provide those goods and deliver on time, and give us the opportunity to fail here. And we were never able given that opportunity. And that's what these companies do to blacks in this country.
All right, let me just pause it here for a quick second. It's important for people to understand that African Americans, I don't know the exact number, but African Americans spend with PepsiCo in general, which did $70 billion in net revenue. I don't know what the gross revenue was. Net revenue in 2020 in North America. African Americans spend billions of dollars a year with Pepsi. So when we demand contracts, like white people get contracts, when African American farmers demand contracts, like white farmers get contracts, this is renegotiating our relationship with corporate America and getting a return on our investment, because they're taking the money. Pepsi is taking the money that we spend with them and then pay that money to white farmers. They take the money we spend with them and pay white advertising agencies to do their advertising, when African American advertising agencies should get a piece of that money and a return on our investment. And the various contracts that they have, transportation contracts, all different types of contracts, whether it's janitorial, security, all down the line. Okay, I've taught entrepreneurship for 7 years, and I used to manage an African American owned company where we had government contracts: City of Detroit, County of Wayne, State of Michigan. We had a janitorial service contract with a charter school. But I got to see, and I knew people, the CEOs of organizations and nonprofit organizations. We had training contracts with different nonprofit organizations. So I got to see this stuff up close and personal. So we have to be smart. This is something one of my teachers, Dr. Claude Anderson, and I've interviewed him a number of times over the past few years. This is something he's been talking about for years, renegotiating our relationship with corporate America, getting a greater return on our investment to strengthen African-American owned businesses, because those are our dollars that they're reallocating to white owned businesses. Okay, let's go back to this. I want to go back to this clip here.
Divide and conquer and wait us out. They waited till the Aunt Your Mama thing calmed down, and then all of a sudden we want to go in another direction, or we're going to try to do something to work with some other people. And I'm here today to say on your show, Roland, because you've been a leader on these issues and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's time to draw the line in the sand with corporate America, and it's time for them to deliver on blacks and stop pimping us out here, because that's what they're doing.
What is, just for people, I mean, I got people in our chat rooms, they're asking this question as well, and I got the question. I'm sure each of our panelists has a question. What is the National Black Growers Council? What is that?
Some group they probably came up with. It was helped to formulate with John Deere's when they really came out and said that they were going to support and work with a core group at John Deere. And the person who's head of that is a African-American male, Mark House, an executive with John Deere, who helped put the group together. And that's what they do, Roland, to try to go around when we put pressure where John Deere wasn't servicing black farmers, servicing white farmers, and getting to black farmers in middle of our harvest when they got good and ready. And I called them out on it, and they went and found some black faces to say, "Hey, John Deere is good." In all reality, John Deere still isn't servicing black farmers, and the way that we're greeted at these local racist dealers isn't any better than it was when I brought the issue out on your show, Roland, a few years ago. And PepsiCo is probably doing the same thing. That's what these corporate people do. They use fancy lines such as, "We're going to move in another direction." That's a favorite line of corporate America, which simply say, "We're not going to do any business with you." And Black America needs to hold them accountable. How many cans of Pepsi does blacks drink in this country, but we can't get a damn contract with them? And they're sitting there trying to tell me that something's right with that, and it's not. We can meet the demand, we can meet the capabilities, we can deliver, and we can grow a damn tater, like we say in the country, and I can grow an ear of corn. And PepsiCo is full of it on that statement.
Any questions for our panel? Matt?
Yes.
Michael?
I have a question.
Okay, Matt, I'm sorry, with you go.
Good evening, Brother Boyd. I have a quick question for you. Did your members do things like consultants or experts to determine, what they would be able to do in terms of output? Like, what costs did your members incur based on the verbal agreement that Pepsi had that they were going to give y'all contracts?
Well, first of all, we used their people. It was their experts who came out and tested the soil and said that, we meted the criteria. So it was their experts who said we met all the demands. And after we met the demands, I really pushed them to execute the contract. And they said, "Well, we're not going to do it this year. We're going to do it probably the first of this year, which would have been January. And we was going to start on a smaller scale and build from there." And when we got on the Zoom call, that's what I was looking for, the details on how to move forward with the contract. And all of these executives are on the Zoom call with me saying that PepsiCo would not be moving forward with black farmers, that they were going in a new direction. And that's what I asked them, what direction is it? When all of your contracts, I want to be real clear on this show, all of their contracts for all of the years with PepsiCo have been with white male farmers. Not a black farmer in this country has supplied a potato or an ear of corn to PepsiCo. And I think it's unacceptable that we let them, slide on this type of thing. And we buying their products, Frito-Lays, potato chips, and Pepsi can and Pepsi 2-liter drinks. I think PepsiCo can do a lot better.
Kelly?
Sure. So granted, PepsiCo is, like you just alluded to, an enormous conglomerate of goods, from chips to foods, everything. But that being said, if they're not supporting Black business, obviously it's going to be hard to boycott Pepsi. You can't. I'm not going to, discredit that. But in the interim, who can we support that will support you? Are there any other PepsiCo equivalents that are either Black owned or Black not encouraging, but, endorsing, in terms of buying Black, supporting Black business, et cetera? Like, are there companies out there that you already work with that we can support that in turn will support you?
Del Monte has been good to the National Black Farmers Association, and we're beginning to do some form of contracts with Del Monte. But Roland, I did leave out as well that I'm looking to meet with the president of PepsiCo. I would like to sit down with him to get a more clearer direction of where they said there's new direction that they're going in. What is it? What does it include? And why are we left out? I think is what I would like to meet with the president about. And if there are any Blacks that that have significant shares of PepsiCo, reach out to them and let them know that none of their business or contracts or potatoes or ear of corn has went out to a Black farmer in this country. And if their shareholders, they'll weigh in at the shareholders meeting as to why we can't be a part of this company. That's the old reality. Corporate 500 in this country has to start doing business with Blacks in the form of contracts for other small Black businesses, whether it's Black farmers. These companies are getting away with not doing business with us, but we continue to be consumers and buy their products hand over fist every day. But we don't demand that they put some resources and commitment back into the Black community.
Well, and that's one of the things that we've been making when it comes to advertising, things along those lines. And I would love for look, here's the deal. We extended the invitation. I would love for PepsiCo to come on the show to share this. When they say in their statement that they increased their spend with Black suppliers by more than 150 million, including a significant increase in our spend with Black-owned farms, I want to know what's that actual number when you say significant increase. And so I want to know what was the number before, what's the number now. It's the same thing that we asked of General Motors, we asked of McDonald's, we asked of Target, Walmart, all the companies that we were talking about. So when people were saying, hey, we're spending significant, we said, no, what's significant? What's the actual number? And then what's the percentage? So we can then sit in here and do the apples to apples comparison. I would love to do the exact same thing with PepsiCo. Michael, go right ahead.
Brother Boyd, thanks for coming on and giving us this valuable information. In 2020, Pepsi's net revenue was $70 billion in North America, $70 billion. Do you know what percentage of that $70 billion came from African-American consumers? One, and two, are you looking at back in about 1981, Reverend Jesse Jackson led a successful economic boycott against Coca-Cola, a nationwide boycott. Are you looking at doing something like that as well?
Well, I tell you, that may be the next steps of looking at a national boycott against PepsiCo, because what we allow these companies to do is make these statements and put out these huge numbers, and we can't point to the people that are who they say are actually getting the business in the Black community. As far as the total number of how much input or what we buy from PepsiCo, I'm not sure what that number is, but I certainly have drunk Pepsi before and had a Frito-Lay potato chip. I'm not going to lie to you, but they aren't putting the resources back, not only for Black, but for Black businesses in this country, and they can do better. And if we band together, I believe this is one time we can hold PepsiCo's feet to the fire. And I'm asking other Black leaders, don't be sellouts. Make sure that there's something in it for everyone before we let a company off the hook. Just because they put out a fancy statement doesn't mean I'm going away or others. I'm not going away. Roller can tell you how long we've been at this game. A very, very long time. And thank you, Roller, for continuing to put Black news in our living rooms and in our communities and our families so that they know what's going on out here. This type of thing is very, very important. And also, I left out one piece. We can meet the demand as Black farmers if we provided a contract, and I think that we can deliver just like any other farmer. So I want to put that piece to rest, that these companies keep alluding to the fact that we can't produce. I've been farming for 39 years, and I've never missed a crop season, whether it was a dry season or a bad season. I just finished harvesting 400 acres of soybeans. I had 300 acres of corn. I'm competing in the top 3 commodities in this country: corn, wheat, and soybeans. And I can fulfill a potato contract, and I certainly can fill a corn contract for PepsiCo if we were provided that same opportunity as they're providing white farmers in this country.
All right, then, John Boyd, National Black Farmers Association. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having
me. And just for our folks know, again, this right here, the National Black Growers Council. This is their board of directors right here. We'll be reaching out to them. Would love to have them on the show. This is their corporate advisory board. You see Frito-Lay, Farmer Credit Bank of Texas. You see Bungie North America, John Deere, Bayer, FMC, Great American Insurance. That's the corporate board members. And so, and again, love to have PepsiCo on here. Our goal, and what I need people to understand as we walk through this, when we talk about where's our money, we have these segments on the show. What we are doing is we are attempting to, what I call, reprogram Black America. John Hope Bryant talks about a reboot. So what happens is, in the history of America, we have been excellent consumers. We've been fantastic consumers. We have been amazing consumers of numerous products: soft drinks, fast food, cars, clothing. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Yet when we begin to talk about the money, then things begin to shift. Now, what people have to understand is part of the problem here is that when we have this discussion, a lot of times the battle is with folk who look like us. Oh, I got people who hop on my Twitter page, my Instagram page. Man, why you out here begging white folks? And I said, so you mean to tell me $322 billion is spent every year on advertising in America, and Black-owned media should not be getting our fair share? Is that what you're saying? Really? Henry, get a shot of my wall there. And if not, matter of fact, I got the graphic on my phone. Let me try to find it. The thing that I'm trying to get people to understand is, when I say we have to reprogram, because too many of us are tripping because you got somebody Black who's saying, yeah, I think, we deserve what's ours economically. That's what Operation Breadbasket was about. That's what Reverend Leon Sullivan was doing. That's what the Black collectives were doing in the 30s, 40s, and the 50s. That's what all this is. And so I'm not saying PepsiCo's right, PepsiCo's wrong. What I'm saying is John Boyd has made a claim. PepsiCo responded. I'd love to know how much is being spent. How much are Black farmers getting? Who's getting it? Because see, if you tell me If you tell me that, oh, we've increased our spend, okay, what were you spending before? $1,000, $100,000? And then what's the increase now? 500,000, $1 million, 2 million? Or was it 2 million before, 30 million now? What's the number? We're not going to, and again, this is the thing that I have been sitting here saying to people. There are people out here, and I see y'all comments. Y'all saying reparations now. Okay. Who's going to vote for it? And when is the vote going to take place? And then, if they vote for it in the House, how's it pass the Senate? And then if it gets past the Senate, it goes to the president for signing. Then it's going to be a lawsuit. John Boyd was just on. There are provisions in the bill passed by Biden and Congress to give billions to black farmers. What happened? White farmer sued. Money's being held up.
Tried to tell you.
So what I'm arguing, while the people who support reparations are fighting for reparations, we should be demanding our fair share when it comes to corporate America. I told y'all, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up, just want y'all to understand. Because I think a lot of people y'all think I'm just sort of just throwing this stuff out here as if I'm crazy. 2018, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton asked the General Accounting Office to do a report on the spending on federal government contracts for advertising. All this is related, y'all. So whether you're talking about advertising with black-owned media, contracts for black farmers, Matt's a lawyer, contracts with black attorneys. Y'all remember the general counsel of Coca-Cola said to the major law firms, hey, you know what? Y'all ain't getting this thing right. We're going to start snatching contracts. Ooh, law firms got really upset. But he said, that's the only way we're going to fix this thing. So all of this is the same. So pick the industry, black folks ain't getting their fair share. I mean, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is, we ain't getting it. In this report, you'll see that it says it right here. The 41-page report revealed that over the past 5 fiscal years, federal government agencies spent $5 billion in advertising. $327 million went to minority-owned businesses. Black-owned businesses netted just $51 million, about $10 million per year over the 5 years covered. That means that black-owned businesses received 1% of the total federal advertising contracts. 1%. Do you know what's the difference between us getting 10% and 1%? Easy. If I show you the CNN DC offices, multiple floors across from Union Station, if I took you to NBC News Channel, where we used to do my TV One show, multiple floors, and I show you black-owned media, maybe one office on one floor, that's what happens when you get 1%. That was 1% over 5 years, y'all. So what we are trying to do with this show is get you to understand our political power and where we're lacking, our economic power, where we're lacking, dealing with health, dealing with all these issues, because we have to change the dynamics for the future. We have to be thinking, Matt, Kelly, Michael, with a legacy mentality. We have to be thinking that, okay, I've got to ensure that I'm changing the game for the next generation So they're not having to fight over 1% 25 years from now. And it's 5 or 8% or 10% by then. But we've got to have those who are watching. And I see somebody sat here and said, Michael, rebuild Black Wall Street. You cannot rebuild Black Wall Street with a tweet. You cannot rebuild Black Wall Street if you do not reprogram Black people to buy Black-owned products.
Right.
And for a lot of folks, this is a theoretical discussion versus a real life discussion. Michael.
This is an extremely important discussion, Roland. Number one of my teachers, Dr. Claude Anderson, has been teaching for years. We have to renegotiate our relationship with corporate America. And this is exactly what John Boyd and you were talking about, because we spend billions of dollars a year with these white corporations. They take our money and give contracts to white small businesses, white-owned businesses, white farmers, things like this. And then our businesses, our advertising agencies, our media can't grow like they should because we're being locked out of these contracts. So this is extremely important, and we need to take this. We need to hold all these corporations that we spend dollars with each year accountable for this, because power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. And when you talk about Black Wall Street, it's important for people. I've done lectures dealing with the history of Black Wall Street. I've studied it extensively. One, there were poor Black people in Black Wall Street. So don't act like there wasn't poor Black people there. Yes, we can rebuild it, but you have to have some certain things. But the foundation of Black Wall Street, a lot of those early landowners in North Tulsa, okay, the Black Business District was called Black Wall Street, or the Greenwood District. A lot of those early landowners got land from the federal government through the Black Freedmen Indian Treaties of 1866 also. And lastly, when we talk about reparations, what people miss is what you laid out. One, it has to pass the House of Representatives and the Senate. You can't name me 10 Republicans in the Senate that are going to vote for reparations.
Can't name one.
Tim Scott.
You can't
Tim
name
Scott
one.
already said he ain't going to vote for it.
You can't name
Tim
one.
Scott, and he's Black. He ain't going to vote for it. The only people that support reparations are Democrats. Go to congress.gov, look up HR 40, 2021, 117th Congress. All the co-sponsors, last time I checked, there's 190 co-sponsors. They're all Democrats. And then you have to be able to keep it once you get it. If somehow you do get it, it's going to be challenged in the courts, as you just laid out. This is why federal judges are important. Federal judges are nominated by the president. This is why U.S. Supreme Court justices are important. Supreme Court justices are nominated by the president as well, confirmed by the Senate, as well as federal judges. So we have to understand how all these pieces come together and get past this theory and actually understand the process of bringing into fruition what it is that we say that we want.
I mean, I tell you, Kelly, I mean, it is quite interesting when I said this and people thought I said this last night, and I want to bring this up again because I think it's a perfect example of what we're talking about. And that is when we begin to, we talk about demanding fair share. We talk about, what's ours, what we should be getting, and all sorts of stuff like that. It's amazing to me when I have folk, man, they fought, they argue, they fight, and I tell people about priorities. I posted this 3 days ago, Kelly. Go to my computer. And I said, I really wish 50 Cent and all the actors on these Stars shows would ask execs in Lionsgate why they spend virtually no money on advertising with Black-owned media. Mm-hmm. They're building their network on Black eyeballs. They want their talent on our shows, but spend no ad dollars. I'm 100% with Black folks in front of the camera and behind the camera, but the ecosystem media extends beyond that. I get inundated with press releases from these media companies, get pitched to have their talent on Roland Martin Unfiltered before this, Tom Joyner and TV One and all the Black newspapers I have run. Yet when we inquire about advertising, crickets. Mm-hmm. So our shows are good enough to have talent come on, but not to advertise. I wish more Black actors, producers, and directors would ask these networks these type of questions and demand they support Black-owned media. Hashtag Black-owned media matters. Now, why did I say that?
Let me just pause it right here for a quick minute. Okay, so back in 2016, when Roland was doing News One Now on TV One, he would do that from, okay, they expanded to 2 hours, so he was doing it 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Then he would do his nationally syndicated radio show 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I used to guest host his nationally syndicated radio show a lot because he would travel, what have you. I broadcast from home because I was on the Empowerment Radio Network at the time. I'm here in Detroit. The radio station was in Atlanta, nationally syndicated radio station, Dave Anderson, Empowerment Radio Network. Yeah, Blackonomics and Warren Ballantine, all that stuff. So I used to guest host Warren Ballantine's show. And then when Warren left the network and Roland came, I used to guest host Roland's show. So I used to do some of the interviews. I interviewed Flex Alexander and Shanice Wilson and on Roland's show, and did some other things. And Roland said that he said on News One Now, but also on his radio show, he said that he gets those press releases. This is back then. He was saying that. He said those networks that wanted him to interview celebrities for TV shows and market to African Americans, get African Americans to watch the show, but didn't want to spend advertising dollars with TV One. Because when you spend advertising dollars with the business, that's an investment in that business. So they wanted him to interview people for this show, that show, but didn't want to spend any advertising dollars on the network. He said he wasn't doing it anymore. He said he wasn't doing it anymore. I don't blame him. We have to understand this because the TV network that runs those shows is making money off of these shows with African-American actors and actresses. But then they don't want to spend advertising dollars with a African-American owned TV cable station or TV station or radio station. That's an investment in that station, and that helps that station, that network, to grow. They don't want to do that. So this is why we have to be smarter. All right, so let's go back because we got to wrap this up. Let's go. I want to go back and finish this segment here. This is getting past all the hashtags and theories.
That it's because we talent on Roland Martin Unfiltered before this, Tom Joyner and TV One and all the Black newspapers I have run. Yet when we inquire about advertising, crickets. So our shows are good enough to have talent come on, but not to advertise. I wish more Black actors, producers, and directors would ask these networks these type of questions and demand they support Black-owned media. Hashtag Black-owned media matters. Now, why did I say that? It's because we demand our Black actors to get better parts and better roles. We demand better diversity and inclusion on the screen. What I'm arguing to those Black actors, y'all got to be doing the exact same thing when it comes to resources. But I'm going to show you again priorities. On that particular item, it got 362 hearts, 43 comments. I posted about Fox likely ending Our Kind of People, a show that's on Fox, Black talent, network we don't own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go to my computer. You'll see right here, folks, 8,255 hearts, 2,521 comments.
Let me just show this quickly. Now, it's important for people to understand the Fox TV network is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch also owns the Fox cable network, where Tucker Carlson is, and Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham, and all the rest of these conservatives that attack African Americans. So Rupert Murdoch, this is one of the reasons why I canceled my subscription to the Wall Street Journal, because Rupert Murdoch also owns the Wall Street Journal. But Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News. I mean, the Fox TV channel. This is one of the reasons why I didn't watch Empire. Empire was one of the most degrading, stereotypical shows on TV. Probably one of the worst ones since Amos and Andy. And at least the NAACP had enough sense to protest Amos and Andy, but they gave Empire Image Awards. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. Let me go here. Let me see. Can we get, okay, we got this. I just want to show this shot here. Okay, so he's talking about the TV show Our Kind of People that deals with, I don't even watch it on Fox. I'm not against the show, but it deals with like African Americans, high society, wealthy African Americans, things like this. And they're talking about possibly canceling the show, and he's dealing with this post he did on, I think it was Instagram, on the social media, and the amount of likes and the huge amount of comments, 2,500 comments or something that he got. Okay, this is what he's talking about. All right, let's go back to this. But once again, it's on Fox. It's on the Fox TV network, owned by Rupert Murdoch.
So Kelly, on one post, I'm talking about Black economics. 43 comments. I'm talking about a black targeted show on a network that we don't own. 2,521 comments. We also got to look at our priorities. Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, and everything you've said thus far is valid. However, when you compare posts like that, tying it back to what Michael just said, you're not going to need, like, there were poor people in Black Wall Street as well. Similarly, you're not going to need all 8,000 of those hearts to get what you need accomplished when it comes to getting Black media dollars.
Yes, you do.
If anything, you might just need however many hearts you had on the original post regarding
you need 8,000.
Black media advertising matter.
Nope, you need 8,000.
Now, I'm sorry?
You need 8,000. You know why? You know why? You know what Stars is going to do? Stars is going to go, I just see 43 comments. Mm-hmm. Oh, trust me. I have been in these negotiations. When they see 2,500 comments, they go, oh shit. When they see 40, they go, y'all, we good. Trust me. I guarantee you. I'm just going to give you an example. I'm not going to name the company. We went after one company last year. The company called a Black ad agency and said, can you get us the impressions on Roland's post? The Black company called me. They said, Roland, can you send me the impressions? So we pulled together that video that was on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the platforms. Sent the impressions on a Friday night. No, I got the call on a Friday night. I sent the impressions on a Saturday morning. They were meeting with me on Monday. But if my impressions were low, Kelly, wouldn't have been a meeting. Oh, I can get, they have, I know for a fact, they click on our Instagram page to see, oh, we good. It's about 20, 30 comments. Oh shit, 1,000 people commented. We need to do that meeting. Trust me, they pay attention.
And that's also very valid, which is all the more reason I kind of want to go back to talking about Black farmers, which was the beginning of this segment, because if what you say is true, and I believe it is, you have no reason to lie about it, we need as many impressions regarding Black farmers getting what they need out of these big companies so that they can do the work that they feel like they were put on this earth to do, which is farming. So shout out to Del Monte, who has a plethora of product as well. Not as much as PepsiCo, but substantial enough for us to know that name and it have weight and, in regards to our lexicon regarding groceries and product. Kudos to them for actually supporting Black farmers, and shout out to those companies in the future who want to support Black farmers as well. But PepsiCo definitely needs to get on the ball, and hopefully other companies like Del Monte will follow.
The thing that I'm trying to impress upon the people who are watching, and I'm looking at their comments, Matt, is to understand when we click like, when we post a comment, keep it going, it impacts the deal making.
Mm-hmm.
And what I am saying to our people, when we are quick to comment on a show that features Black people, but that we don't own, on a network that we don't own, a network that does not actually employ a lot of us, but then folk like, man, we need Black media talking about our story. Y'all, we can't cover the stories if we can't pay staff to cover them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of people running their mouths have never been in a position to make the deal, so they don't actually understand the inner workings of this. Okay, we're way over time. All right. If you all like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. So that was an excerpt of the January 28th, 2022 edition of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm a panelist usually each Friday on Roland Martin Unfiltered. You can download the Black Star Media app and watch it there, and you can go back and watch that show. Follow Roland Martin on Facebook and YouTube. You can watch there as well. He broadcasts live there. It broadcasts Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then it rebroadcasts throughout the day as well. All right. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for the online classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. We have the new classes. Class number 1 starts up Saturday, February 5th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And this is a 10-week online class. We deal with thousands of years of history, what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. This class is regularly $130. It's on sale $80. This is class number 1. There's bonus content you can start watching as soon as you register. You will also get my 15 DVD. You also get my 15 lecture bundle package. It'll be in digital format. You'll get that included as a bonus for registering for this class. Okay. And that's the Michael Imhotep 15 lecture bundle pack, Black History Month lecture bundle pack. You'll get that included. We have it in DVD format. You can order it in DVD format, but you'll get it free in digital format when you register for this class. And then on Sundays, starting February 6, 2022, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968, 10-week online course as well. That's on sale, $80 also. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for it there. And we have the bundle pack where you can register for both classes for only $120. It's a $260 value for only $120. It's for a very limited time only. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win.